All right, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Adobe Animate. All right, so today we're going to continue where we left off. You should have opened up your project file. Okay, remember this is a 02. We're still in lesson 2. All right, and we're going to work with a couple little things today. And again, just as a refresher, we're building a big banner. And today we're actually going to work on using the pencil tool and also using some swatches. So let's get to it, okay? It should be a short lesson, but I'm going to give us some time to play with the pencil tool so that you'll get some proficiency out of it. Again, some of these concepts are just for you to understand where they're at. You're not going to really get good at them until you practice with them. Now, we will have tablets available. Okay, I will have tablets available for those of you that are in class, so that you'll be able to practice with the mouse and the pen. And I will say this at the very onset, that both of them are going to take practice. And some people are better with the mouse right off the bat, or some people are better with the pen, the first time they get it. And some people are just great with both. I'm particularly probably just like to stick with the mouse because I've been using it longer. But I have used the pencil. I know the pencil works really well, right? The tablet works really well with the pencil tool and the brush tool. So I'm practicing a little bit. So again, these tutorials are to get you a basic understanding of how Animate works, and for you to explore with the future projects that we're going to do in this class, so that you'll be able to create something, which in reality, you're going to have your first projects right after we finish the lesson 2 unit. So you can actually practice all of these different little skills on your own, because that's the way you get better with it, not just by just learning it once. Like anything, you have to practice and practice it. If you want to get good at Animate, you have to practice, right? So let's get on with the basic tutorials. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about, or actually you're going to be practicing the pen tool and the swatch tool. So I want to let you guys know right off the bat, if you're looking at this Animate project and you have a small cup, come up to the, right here, I'm going to click so you can see it. This 100% over here. Again, this is something you should already know. This is how to make things bigger. It's 200, but I'm actually going to go to 300% because we want to see things really big. Okay. So if you're working in small details, it doesn't work. This doesn't do anything except bring things closer and actually pushes them further away from you. It doesn't affect the size. I had a lot of questions on that. If you change the percentages, does it make the actual file size smaller? No, it doesn't. This is just the view, all right? So it pushes it farther away or zooms it in. That's all it is. It's just a zoom, okay? So you can bring it in. If you want 400, you can do 400. And again, we did mess with the zoom a lot, but today I want to make sure that, we get it nice and big, because we're actually going to be working with some different products. Actually, I think 400 is a little too much. I think 300 was the right size, because we're going to be working with a pen. Yeah. So the first thing you want to do here, obviously, is you're working with this file, and last thing we did was we grouped this so we can actually move it all in one shot, which obviously it didn't save for me. So if it moves, then it's not grouped. So let's go ahead and group that right now. So again, click and drag, and then when you click and drag, it'll highlight everything here as far as the cup, and then we're going to modify, and then we're going to go all the way down here where it says group. And it'll group everything. Now I can grab and drag the cup, and it's not in pieces. Remember, we were supposed to do that last week, and then of course we saved it as coffee cup down here. And I'm going to click so you can see that I have one layer, and it's called coffee cup. So now this is all one style. All right. I'm sorry. This is all one object. I'm thinking of InDesign. All right. So what I want you to do is go ahead and bring that cup all the way to the bottom, or as far as bottom as you can. We'll do that right now, so that your coffee cup's sitting towards the bottom. And of course, you'll do that with a select tool. And if you remember the shortcut to the select tool, so you don't have to keep on going over here and clicking, you can just click V, right? V is your shortcut, and it's an important one to remember. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, after grouping objects, right? So now it's all in one area, but I want to make sure that we understand the grouping. I'm going to take a couple of minutes real quick. So I clicked and dragged, but if I wanted to, let's just say I wanted to change the color of the coffee in here, at a later date. And how it, if I select it, it'll select everything. If you double click it, it'll select everything, right? And I want to bring your attention over here where it says Scene 1, Group 1. So this is the state it's in. It actually opened up a different state. It almost like it went into a different realm or dimension, right? And that's what this does. And this little area brings you back to the original state. But I want to get to this little coffee area if I wanted to change it, right? So once you click off on it and you just double click that center piece or any little piece, I got the stroke there, right? I got everything there. Now I can single click because they're all taken apart because I ungrouped them. Because again, if you look up here, we kind of went into like this different realm, right? A realm beneath the group, right? If I want to go back and group them all together, I just close this up. And then back here where it says Scene 1, and now they are all one group. So I want you to understand this little area right here, what I just did, because sometimes you're going to be clicking and things aren't going to be working. And sometimes you're in this like, in Stranger Things, it's like the underworld place, or where it's, you know, it's like a different dimension where you go in. That's what that is. You kind of go beneath the layers. Okay, you kind of go into a different realm in that area. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into that, and you see I went into that different realm, so I can actually just single click and select each individual little piece at a later date. So you do have a lot of control. And if I want to go back to the group, I come back to the real world. I can't remember what was that thing called, you know, that like underworld or the down under or the upside down. The upside down. All right. So anyway, that's what it was called, right? So you go into that place, and that's how you get out of it with the little arrow. You just click back on it, and you get back out. And again, if you want to see that little arrow, I'll double click this. Takes us to the upside down. If you want to get out of the upside down, then we just click that little arrow. Okay, again, just to make sure everybody sees that little arrow. I'm going to click that without clicking the arrow. It's that little place right there. And it brings us back to our world. All right. So that's how you kind of look at the groups and how that works. You know, you get to groups and you work with it. So let's go ahead and start working with our tools, right? Our pencil tool, so we can start creating our steam, because we're going to create this steam that's coming out of our hot coffee. All right. So, and we're going to use some variable with strokes. So one of the things with Photoshop and InDesign and all the Adobe products is that they want to help you, because they know that even artists need a little bit of help with some of their articulations as far as converting your mechanical fingers to the actual digital space. So when we're working with different tools, they basically want you to, or they basically have these different settings that'll constrain, or basically will help you kind of create what you're wanting to do. In our particular case, we want to make some wavy line shapes, right? And we can't use the rectangle tool because it just makes rectangles and squares, right? We can't use this one here, right? I moved my box, so I'll center it again. Again, if you move this around, just click this little center thing and it'll center up your cup. So I can't use this rectangle tool because it only makes rectangles. I want to make these waves, right? I can't use the oval tool because it'll just make like a big oval. It's not going to be any wavy parts. So there's the polygon or the polystar tool, so on and so forth. So this particular case, the waves from the steam are not, the shapes tool is not going to help me. So we're going to use our pencil tool. We're actually going to have to draw these out manually, right? So here's the pencil tool, and it looks like this. Okay. Now, some of you may not have this right away. Some of you may not have this right away. So you're going to go to these three dots here, okay, where it says Edit Toolbar, because I had to do this when I was running through this, right? And your pencil tool may be in here. See where it says the little pencil tool? And I dragged mine out of the bar because I did it previously, so it remembered it. But yours, if you click these little dots, it's going to have the rest of the tools that are not listed, right? These are what they call uncommon tools, but in reality, we do use the pencil tool a lot. So you're going to grab the pencil tool, click, and you're going to drag it into your toolbar, and now you have the pencil tool. Okay. And you'll do that for any tools that you may need. Okay. If you're missing them and you don't see them and they're not nested, in other words, they're not inside, hidden behind another tool, that means they're probably in you kind of like your tool palette, your hidden tool palette, right? And you'll have to drag that in. So let's go ahead and do that. You'll pick that pencil tool right there. And then you're going to, when you click that pencil tool, remember over here in properties, everything changes, right? And now you can see where it says pencil tool here on the top. If I click it to the rectangle tool, I'm going to click over here. You go back over here, and it basically shows you rectangle. So depending on what tool you get in the properties, again, this is a reminder, a refresher, so everybody can kind of pick it up. Maybe you're just picking this up from the, oh, Mr. What does it make sense to me now, right? Maybe that's an epiphany moment that you just had. This is it'll change. So we're gonna actually go back to the pencil. Again, I'm just kind of showing you some of the basic things. Again, refreshing. We had spring break, a while back, so it may have kind of, I would say you probably clouded your mind just a little bit. And so you're probably trying to remember. So don't worry about it. We're moving slow. We're moving methodically. Right. So now here's the pencil tool. So once you're in the pencil tool, I want you to come in here and right under the word pencil, you see this box, these two boxes, right? And if you hover over them, this is pencil mode and this is object drawing mode. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the pencil mode, and we're going to choose smooth. Now what this does is this is what I'm talking about with these little tools that help you draw certain things, right? So the smooth is going to, if you're drawing, it's not going to let you, it's going to kind of let you kind of work with smooth curves and waves. It's not going to really help you do straight lines. If you want to do something straight, with like a straight line, you would use the straighten tool, right, for horizontal and vertical lines. And of course, the ink is almost like a free form or a free flowing kind of freestyling with your mouse or your tablet. But we're going to choose smooth. We're going to choose smooth to help us kind of stay smooth without what we're doing. All right. All right. So then we're going to go ahead and then we're going into you see where we're at in the color and style selection of the properties panel. Okay, color and style right here. We're going to do the dark brown stroke, right? And you may not have this dark brown stroke. So what we're going to be doing is if you come up here, this is a previous one that we had, but if you don't have one, I'm going to click this and I'm going to go ahead and type in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's going to be the dark brown stroke that we're going to use. All right. So in the hex, I like to use in the hex because it's more precise, right, than just picking a color at random, especially because I'm colorblind and these knowing the hex color code and it says dark brown, I know it's dark brown, so it helps me out. So that's why I use the hex code a lot. But it helps you also be more precise. So we already picked that dark brown. So again, that color that is. That number is 6. It's just kind of counting backwards, right? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So start at 6 and go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pretty easy, right? I like that. All right. So we're going into, oops, I better stick around. So I have my stroke color filled, right? And for the stroke size here, it's at 1. And if you click here, I mean, you can use this slider if you're precise. And I want you to go to 15, right? I got to 15 there. Or you can just type it in. Double click there and just type in 15 if you don't want to mess with sliding that little slider. All right. So again, this is a stroke size right here. Stroke size, stroke color, the dark brown, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the stroke size right here is going to be 15. That's how big our stroke size is going to be. Right. And then from the style, which is right underneath the stroke, because we're kind of like messing with all of these as we go down. The next one down is the style. And from the style, we're going to choose one that's the solid. This is the dashed, dotted, ragged. So these are different lines that you can choose. Again, the Adobe products help you choose or help you draw and constrain things. So you're not having to, do all the little dots if you're going to be drawing it. There's some tools that help you draw, basically. So style is a solid line. okay, which is probably the one that's already defaulted there, which is the first one. And then we're going to go for width, which is the next box down. All right, we're going to go down here to width, and we're going to click on where it says width profile 2, 1 2 width profile 2. All right, and this is kind of a thick and thin, so it's thick up here and then it's thin. We kind of want that kind of effect, right? So let me go width. There it is. It has to look like this. I wasn't clicking on it for some reason. It wasn't working for me. So if it still looks like a box in the width, you need to basically make it look like this, right? And I'll move the magnifying glass away so you can see up here how all of this needs to look. Okay. And then of course, that's width profile 2. All right. And then the next thing you need to do is, again, we're going to draw a few wavy lines a few wavy lines above the coffee. Okay. So here's my pencil tool. Okay. If you fell out of the pencil tool, just go get your pencil tool and all the settings should be the same. Right. And you're going to draw some wavy lines. Whoa, what happened here? Ah, I know where I messed up. Control Z or Command Z. Remember, this is supposed to be 15. Somehow I fell out of that. Okay. So let me do another wavy line. Whoa, what happened there? Ah, you see, it's actually throwing it behind it. And the reason why is because when you start adding, I did this on purpose. If you start adding things, right, it's going to add it to the layer, whatever is there. In this case, our layer is coffee cup. And what I did is I started trying to add some of the little steam coming out. However, with the coffee cup, it's just going to add to it, right? And then you don't actually want that, especially if you're going to animate it kind of to steam up really nice and pretty and kind of cool, and the coffee cup stays by itself. You're going to want this on a different layer. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to come down here and we're going to hit the plus sign, okay? And the layer is going to be on top of the coffee cup, okay? Okay, and then so basically we're going to put on the layer 1. You'll double click that so you can rename it. You can rename it Coffee Aroma. Okay. Oh, sorry. Remember, if you give it a space, it's going to give you that error and it's going to automatically insert an underscore. It doesn't like spaces by itself. Okay. Adobe products don't like that. So now I have 2 layers, right? So I have the coffee cup and the coffee aroma. So on the coffee cup, I'm going to go ahead and just lock it. Okay. Don't forget, guys, if you lock it and you can't adjust something, or, it's because it's locked. You have to unlock to kind of edit. So always keep that, because I always mess this up too. I always forget. So coffee aroma is there. And basically we're going to take our pencil and we're going to draw. Now we're going to draw the little S's, and this should be all right. Okay. And this is, I'm going to give you a few minutes. We can pause this in class. I don't know if I like that. I want a big one. No, but I'm going to go backwards. There. I want to kind of, it's all right. It looks cool. Maybe this last one I could probably do better. Kind of fuzzy. So play with it until you get something that you like. So now I've got some coffee aroma coming out of my cup, right? You can do 2. I did 3. You don't have to do it if you're happy with 2. Again, it's your own personal preference on that. However you want to deal with that is fine with me. All right, so we've got that down. So now you've got some aroma. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to edit the widths of these tools, right? And we're going to edit it by using the edit width tool, which is right up here. Okay. And again, you may not have this, so you may have to go to the 3 buttons down here And I didn't have this. That's why I'm saying that you probably don't have it, because it was hidden down here. All right. You have to go to these 3 buttons again, and you have to grab it and you have to drag it in so you can use it. Right. So close that up. Now I have it. It's called a width tool, and you know it because if you hover over it, it says width tool. So now with the width tool, if you just hover over one of these little lines that we just drew, and it's cool because the pencil tool actually made the little big curves, the fat curves, and the tiny little, I would say little waist kind of deal. It added all that for us, right? So here we can actually customize the sizes. So if you just run along the main line that this width tool gives you, you see this little control point. And then you already see a lot of control points existing. But if you click on the top control point, and I don't know how good you can see this, but it gives you 2 different other control points, and that is the width. So if you click and drag one of these little points, okay, let me make sure I got this. I can make it fatter. Let me undo that. Or I can make it thinner. Okay, so that works. Actually, I love the way that this looks. I probably want this one a little bit thinner over here. Right there, coming out there. I probably wanted this one. I want to add a control point. I click it and add one. Click and drag. Or bring that one a little bit closer. No, I didn't like that one. It's not as smooth. Let me see if I can do something with this one. Everybody, you guys can play with it. And again, we can pause this right now if you need to. I think I'm going to pause it in class so you guys can play with it a little bit. All right, I'm going to leave mine right there. I like the way that looks. Okay, we made it thicker and thinner in some places, and you can kind of it's an artistic thing. There's no one right way to do it. As long as you're using the tool, that's all I care about for this particular area, right? And you can drag an anchor point, and that's what those little lines are called, anchor points. Okay, and or control points for some people. And then again, these are strokes that we've created. So, and if you want, and you just want to select one side without it kind of messing the other side up, you can hold down option. Okay, hold on the option button, and it'll let you just click one side like that. Cool. All right. So and those of you at home, it's going to be the Alt key instead of the Option key, because those are the Macs here in school. Right? On Macs it's Option, and at home in Chromebook or Windows it's Alt. All right. And there you go. You've made some little aromas that are coming out, right? Of course, it'll get better, but we'll talk about that in a second. So this is where you're at. I'll let you play with this a little bit. I'm not going to let you go yet. There's a couple little tiny things I want to show you before we actually end this particular lesson. One is going to be using the swatches. All right. So let's go ahead and click on the swatches tab over here on the right hand side where it says swatches. Okay. Or again, you can go to window and you can go to swatches and it'll bring it up. So this is the swatches, right? And swatches are predefined samples of color. All right. And then we can access them by going to those both of those different areas, or you can select Command and F9. That's not a good shortcut to memorize, because there's just a lot of other things that are more useful. V being one of the ones that is really useful. So, but you can figure out that there's 2 different ways to get there. On the right hand side of that tool panel, and also we can access it through the window menu up on top. All right, and so basically, with these swatches, they're predefined colors, so you don't have to, you can kind of get you in the ballpark. If you're working fast and you just want a green, you can pull up a green or pull up a blue. If you're not, and then you can kind of fine tune it by looking for specific hex color codes, and then you can kind of customize it that way so it doesn't break your workflow. Swatches are really good because they're fast, right? They're predefined. there's another thing called the tag swatch that we're going to be making, right? And tag swatches are basically kind of like tags in social media or in Discord, right? When you tag somebody, it links the, just say if you tag everyone, it basically notifies everybody who's in that particular server. I'm talking Discord. But if you tag somebody on social media, let's just say you tag somebody in Facebook, it basically links that particular post to those people. In this particular case, tag swatches, it acts the same way. You're going to tag different objects, and they're all going to be tied to one color. Okay, and that we're going to make that color swatch. And I'm going to tell you that's a very valuable thing to have, especially if you have a lot of iterations of the same object. Let's just say you have 50 stars and you want to change the color of all 50 stars, right? You can do it one at a time, but that would be tedious. If you tag all the stars and to one color, if they're all the same color, boom, you can just change the color and it would change all the stars that are tagged, right? So we're gonna let's go ahead and do that. Let's save a swatch first. All right, okay. So we're going to save a swatch. So the first thing we need to do, I want to save that 654321 brown that we just did. We just got that, right? And so we're going to get the selection tool, right? And you can again click over here. I'm not going to click on it because I'm actually going to use a V. Boom, right? And you can click on that, and you're just going to select one of the brown little pieces of steam or aroma, coffee aroma that we actually used, right? And then we're going to go back into swatches. I'm going to click over here on the right hand side. I'll click it again, right? It's up here. And down here I'm going to go ahead and add a new swatch. Okay, so basically it's going to be a new swatch. And when I click on that, boom, since it's already selected, it just creates that brown color there in that swatch. So now I don't have to go keep looking for the brown over and over again in Google. I've already memorized 654321, but now I have it in my swatches. So now I can pick that brown whenever I want it, and I can and it's already there. So if I close my swatches and let's just say open it up in a different way, all right, my brown is already going to be there. And so I can use that brown whenever I want. If you have a custom color that you've hunted down, or you just say that you got burnt orange from the code from online, that you're doing something with the University of Texas, then you can create a little specific swatch for that, right? And you can have all your little custom colors here. And it's cool. I'd love to have that. So hopefully you've gotten to that point. Again, let me go back over here. To save it, you make sure that this is selected and that you click the little, I'm going to click over here. All right, so you can see it's this little plus sign that'll get you to that creating that little swatch. All right. Now we're going to go into where I was talking about a little earlier, the tagged swatch, right? So we've already got all of these 3 pieces of steam. Now again, for 3 isn't too much. I mean, you can the tag swatches doesn't really benefit us a lot with the 3. It still does, but it really comes into play again if you have a lot of iterations of some of the things that you want to change, right? If you have a bunch of clouds, for example, stars is another good one, right? There's a couple other examples that could be really good that you want to change everything at once at a later date. Again, that's why the importance of tag swatches are. So we're going to come over here, and with this, let's go ahead and select our aroma, our coffee aroma brown. Okay. We're going to convert this with this little area down here that says you see it, there it is. Convert to tag swatch. Now I'm clicking over here. Convert to tag swatch, and it brings up tag color definition. Now you can name it, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it Coffee Steam. COFFEESTEAM. Okay. Then I'll click OK. Boom. And now we have a new, on our swatches, we have a new little section that says Tag Swatches, which has our coffee steam. If you hover over it, now it's coffee steam. If I wanted to, basically make another swatch, bring it in, bring up a lot of different color palettes from, or hex codes from Google, I can do that. Okay. Now we're going to hit OK now that we have that. Now let's start using this tag swatch. All right. We're going to use this tag swatch because now that we have, let's just say our post, all right, like in social media, if you post something, now we want to tag everybody in it. So we have our color that we can tag somebody in it. So now we want to tag, guess what? We want to tag all of our pieces of steam in that brown, all right? So this is already selected, right? Because we were selected it. You can hold your shift key down, and now I'm going to, let's go ahead and select these. I'm sorry. So make sure that your tag swatches is here. Okay, your coffee steam, and has a little white box or a little white triangle in the box. Then hold down the shift key, and you're going to select all the pieces of steam. You're actually going to tag all the pieces of steam that you're going to do. That's what we're doing. We're selecting them. We're tagging them. Okay, we're tagging those coffee wisps. All right, we're going to open up the swatches panel. So we have everybody we want to tag, right? Which is the coffee wisps, right? And then we're going to click the coffee steam and see that how it doesn't. It doesn't have a white. It's not outlined in white. But when I click it, it is. That means we automatically tagged everybody. Okay. So basically now they're all tagged. Okay, that was it. Really simple. They're tagged. So now I have nobody selected, and that's cool. But they're still tagged even if you're not selecting it, right? So let's just say that I don't like that brown. I want that to be flames, right? So I don't want a brown. I want it kind of like an orange or something, or a yellow kind of flames, right? So I'll get this coffee steam and I'll double click the tag swatch, and it gives me kind of like a color deal here, right? A color. I'm losing it right now. It's basically here's your recipes for your hues, right? Saturation, brightness, and of course red, green, blue, right? And then everything. So you have another recipe that you can use here, right? If you want to dial some things in. Of course, your hex code 654321 here. But I'm going to pick some random numbers. Actually, I'm going to go with 587456. And you can actually do this yourself if you want, right? Just play around with it, right? And so I want you to notice here on this swatch color, this is the original, and this is the new color that's on top. If I hit OK, boom, all of my tagged colors are changed. See, and that's why it's important to understand how to use these tag swatches. So if you have a bunch of stars, you're not having to click on one and then change it, click on another one and then change it. And especially if you have a long period of animation, this tag swatches really help out a lot. So I don't know what color I got because I'm colorblind, but that looks like a gray green or something like that. I may be wrong, but I don't know. So then I'll go in here and let's try another color. I'm gonna just play around. I'm just gonna pick 6 random numbers, right? And hit OK. Boom. Oh, I got a purple or a purplish. That's a nice color. I like that one. All right. So now I'll click on. I'm gonna stop messing around here. Okay, and I'm gonna go in here and go back to my 654321 brown because I know it's the one I like, and I'll leave it at that. Right now would be a good time to hit File, Save, right? Or you can hit Command S or you Control S at home, right? And it give me that little error because it's saying, "Hey, dude, you're already saved." All right, so. That's how you update the swatches, and that's basically all I wanted to cover today. All right, so it's not super long. It's kind of long because of my explanations, but hopefully you're able to do that. You can play around with the swatches. You can play around with the color, play around with the pen tool, and I will see you guys here tomorrow for our next lesson. Don't forget to save, okay? And then you can. Mine's already saved, so then you save and then you can close out. You guys have a great day. This is Mr. Juarez. Over and out.